When there's looking happening, or when you look, if I should say, looking at the objects, different objects, there is silence there. There's silence. When you look, everything is quiet. It seems to be quiet in a way. And everything seems to be nameless. And there seems to be no labels at all. And everything doesn't say, or what seems to be object doesn't say that it doesn't give out names, doesn't say, okay, like for instance, when you're looking at the computer doesn't say, I'm the computer. It's just only the projection that seems to arise in this silence and say that's a computer. But when you look at it as it is seen that it's not a computer, it's just nothing, and it's beautiful. And when you look at it as it is, it's beautiful. Everything, when you see everything as it is, not with the imagination or the projection that arises from this silence. Everything is seen as just beautiful. Flowers, a wall, a bed, shoes, the floor, the dust. Everything is beautiful because everything is already nameless, formless, and empty. But when you look at things with that projection, that's all, it's something. Somehow it may seem as if it loses its beauty. It's seen as just, oh, it's just a shoe. Oh, it's just a computer. Oh, just a flower. It's just a tree. But it's not just a tree. It's not a tree. It's not a flower. It's not it's not a shoe. It's not a computer. It's something beautiful. Something that is nameless. That is deep silence. It's even what seems to be other human beings. They are seen as just okay. Even when they say, oh, I'm in trouble, I'm suffering, I wish I could change my life, they are seen as just okay. Because they are seen from silence. Even when there's a conversation going on, when it's being watched from this silence, it's very light. It's very light. You know, you allow the person to talk, to express. Really, there's so much space to allow any expression to happen in the silence. Not trying to move a conversation to a certain direction, allow that flow to, you know, there's that synchronicity there. Somehow things seem to go to the right direction when there's no control of the situation, something trying to control what's happening. Mm. And it's already the case. It's not that this will happen when you've done this and that. Here there are no steps. There's no journey. There's no process. It's already happening.
Yet,
It's just a
yet, nevertheless, nevertheless, Nkosi. I don't always feel like I'm coming from a place of stillness. And I feel I can't force anything. All I can do is arrange my life in a way to maximize potential to recognize silence. Get enough sleep, get enough exercise, go out in the forest, talk to Nkosi every week, read I Am That, make space, look objectively. But trying doesn't do anything. All you can do is sort of move things around in the environment and wait. That's why they call it grace, right? Because it decides when it wants to arise in your noticing of it. Of course, it's already there.
yeah. Even searching for silence is also beautiful because it also arises from silence. Everything is beautiful here. Silence doesn't say, oh, you shouldn't search, you should keep quiet. No, everything is silence. Everything is silence. Already thinking about it, not thinking about it, searching for it, not searching for it, going to the forest is beautiful. Coming back, being in the meeting, in the boardroom, deciding, making plans, everything is silence. Even though the mind may seem to say, oh, I wish I was in the forest. Now I'm working. Maybe I'll find time. That's okay too. That's silence too. Expressing as that. So everything, everywhere, every place, every situation is already silence. Driving a car, sleeping, being away, everything is silence. Everything is this. In the midst of searching, there's just this. In the midst of uh, confusion, there's just this. In the midst of being closer to this, in a way, it's just this.
The other day, I came in to Melissa's office and looked down at her. She was sitting down, and it just felt all of a sudden, immediately, like there weren't three dimensions. There was just two dimensions. It looked like, and what was in the two dimensions was just empty. And I just looked down at Melissa, and I could feel her energy and consciousness behind what looked like a picture.
Yeah.
When I saw it from mature spirit, you know. It just lasted whatever, 15 seconds or something, right? It's like shit,
Yeah.
man. That's how Nkosi sees things all the time.
Yeah. Some they say, I always see God in you. They will put it in that. So I would say God sees himself in everything. It's God playing as you and me, playing a game of separation, imagining separation that is never there. There's never been a separation. We have never moved. We have never been a human being. It's like a king that lives in his own palace. If the king imagines that uh, is is running around the forest, being chased by lions, trying to hunt animals for food, then it may seem to suffer. But when it stops to imagine, then the king may see that or may recognize that, oh, I've never left my palace, I've always been here. I've been imagining that I was in the forest. So the lions, they can only chase the king in its own imagination. Yeah. But when the king stops to imagine, and there will be a recognition that, oh, I've always been here. I've never left my place. I have my servants. I've always been served with food I like. Mm. Not having to go out to hunt for food, to hunt animals, and watching out for lions nearby. So it's the
It's
same. Yes.
funny, the metaphors that you use are are metaphors that have been used before. I think a lot of times you haven't heard them. I think Buddha,
Yeah.
metaphor of the king that doesn't know he's a king. And Nisargadatta did the same thing.
Mm. Yeah. It's a beautiful metaphor. It's beautiful.
They didn't have the part about lions and hunting though. That's like a special African take, I think.
Yeah.